Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed. And now that you
This is the Rewind episode 58 edition, Final Four edition, brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. I'm the captain, the host of the ship, Monty Moss. And we are here. You know, it's been a long season for college basketball, but it's been a really good tournament so far, from first four to now Sweet 16, now Elite Eight, now Final Four, which we'll talk about tonight. We got two beautiful guests, young, bright stars, as I am opening doors and creating platforms for young voices of the future to make their appearance and be in the spotlight as they deservingly deserve to do so. So all grace to the good Lord. Happy April. It is April Fool's, and I wish I had an April Fool's joke to tell you guys, but personally, ain't nothing to fool around in today's world. Gas is extremely high, $5 or more at the pump. The economy sucks. 10 groceries in my shopping cart last week was over $100, so I am not happy. There's nothing to joke about, so happy April, and hope April is a great month and a God month for everyone, because regardless of what happened in March, God has given us the opportunity to start over with a new opportunity and a new month, a new week, a new day, a new hour here in the month of April. So praying the month of April is good for everybody. Push, right? I've said it all the time. Push, pray until something happens. And if you don't know, you know. And if you didn't know, you just know now again. So it's going to be a great lineup tonight. Appreciate all the love and support that you guys show to us. If you haven't, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel at the @rewind_GSC3, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at the @rewind_GSC3. The power of the pivot, doing a little bit, some things different tonight, of course. You know, some changes going on without some of the things that's been going on. We also want to send our prayers on behalf of GSC3, the family, the crew, our prayers and thoughts with Pat, our graphic designer, who aunt transitioned this morning. So on behalf of everyone here, we want to send open hugs, open hearts to Pat and his family during the transition of his aunt. And we're keeping him and his family in our prayers. So if you haven't, please, if you can, say a prayer for our guy, Pat. He's done a tremendous job since coming on board over a year and a half ago. He's been everything that I could have envisioned, and his work and his dedication and commitment and consistency doesn't go unnoticed, right? We all like consistency in this thing we call life. And want to also give a special happy birthday to my big sister, Elsie, who's celebrating her birthday today. Big 25 is what she's called it, but honestly, she's quite older than that. But hey, if you feel 25 again, so be it. We deserve it. Happy birthday to her. And want to give a happy early birthday to our guest that I won't say just yet. You'll see when she gets on here, as she celebrates a big accomplishment and achievement and milestone in her young profession, her young life. So it's gonna be a good one. So let's get into some house cleaning. Some things that have transpired over the last week or so since the last time you saw me. Last week's episode with John and Marissa was a great episode. They came on, they talked about the Elite Eight preview between UConn and North Carolina on the women's side, South Carolina, UConn and Duke, Illinois. I mean, it was just been a great episode. A lot of feedback, a lot of good comments. Appreciate the love and support. And we're growing on all of our platforms, which is important. So that tells me we're doing something right. You know, success doesn't come overnight. Everybody wants the whole glitter glamour blow up and go viral. It happens to some, but for folks out there, it doesn't happen to you. You have to continuously show up and put in the work and be consistent. And that's what I pride myself in doing week in and week out here, putting out a good product for the people to enjoy. And, of course, being a little bit more controversial at times. I mean, what platform in today's world isn't going to be controversial? So we shall see. So kicking off a few things. Last 2 weeks ago, I believe, I had the opportunity and privilege to meet some folks that I'll talk about. But I want to pivot first to what this past week has been. And that has been a tremendous, joyful week at St. Matthew AME Church in Orange, New Jersey, hosting our Reverend picture here to the far left, Reverend Wilson. Him and his wife, Leslie Wilson, hosted the 154th session of the New Jersey Annual Conference. Now, for folks out there that may not know what an annual conference is, it's when all the pastors in New Jersey, all the elders, the 4 presiding elders in the district, all the delegates, local elders, the treasure committee, I mean, everything you can think of in a church comes to the church that's hosting, which was St. Matthew. And for that week is different workshops, different things throughout each day that goes on, finance committee meetings, all the different types of stuff in terms of the structure of the church to see where are things in 2025 and how can things get better and improve in the year of 2026. So as you can see here, Supervisor Green, who is Bishop Samuel Lawrence Green Sr., who is a bishop of the 1st District. His sister is a supervisor. So Bishop Green was there for the entire week, pretty much putting new structures in place because the previous bishop had passed away. So he's coming from a new district, a different district, but he's familiar with some of the people that are here. And it was an amazing week to be able to sit with him for the week. And my sister, God sister Lauren, who's a daughter of Reverend Wilson, pastor of St. Matthew, she just went through surgery yesterday morning, taking care of some health issues that was pretty much been on the plate for a while. So she had a successful surgery. I'm happy to hear that. So praying for her healing, praying for her recovery. And if you don't know this guy here, he was a guest during the campaign for Governor Mikey Sherrill as she was running for governor at that time. And Lieutenant Governor, pictured here, Dale Caldwell, he was a nominee under Sherrill's leadership for Lieutenant Governor. Mikey Sherrill wound up winning the governor's race. So we have another Black Lieutenant Governor in the state of New Jersey. So we had him on during the campaign. I met his driver, who was pretty much told me when I met him that I have a great platform. He enjoyed it, and they pulled over on the side of the turnpike at a rest stop to do a special sit down with Dale Caldwell. And we talked about his sports background with tennis, his father, and then of course getting to what truly mattered most, which was business in a sense, in terms of talking about the importance of this upcoming election that passed between Governor Sherrill and Republican nominee Jack Cilarelli. And it was great. Divine alignment, right? I talk about it all the time. Divine alignment. These things happening organically, not force. Everything in life, when it happens organically, good things happen. So I was happy to finally meet Dr. Caldwell in person. He will also be at my church the 2nd week of April to preach. So I look forward to seeing him again there. But his team was tremendous. I mean, he's got a pretty good detailed staff. But good to pick his brain, to finally meet him in person, put name to face, because, he knew exactly who I was when he saw me, and all grace to the good Lord for that. So happy to meet Dr. Caldwell and look forward to seeing him next Sunday, actually, at St. Matthew AME Church in Orange. Fast forward, we celebrated my brother Press, who celebrated his 40th birthday, picture in the middle. Press invited me to his private dinner this past Saturday. Anthony, picture on the far right. Anthony, of course, is someone who's behind the scenes for the brand GSC3, does a lot of creative work in terms of sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, and sharing experience. Anthony owning multiple businesses in this time frame, and currently supporting and being another owner for Signature Sports Bar, a Black-owned business in Union, New Jersey. So it was good to get there with Press, break bread, show some love, and celebrate him, because, again, you have to pour into people, pour into you. And Press is one of those individuals for me who pours into me and uplifts me and motivates me. And those are the people that you want to have surrounded in your life through all phases, all the seasons. So he's real, he's loyal, he's honest. His integrity speaks for itself. He's disciplined. And look, anytime you have the opportunity to learn and seek wisdom from someone older than you, take advantage and just be a sponge. Observe all that and apply it into the own spaces of what you're going through in life, because it may not matter at that particular time, in terms of the advice they're sending or sharing with you at that moment. But eventually on your journey, it will come into play. It will come into fruition, and you have to take that and run with it in your own way. So happy birthday, Press. Happy 40th. He's on a plane somewhere. I don't know where he's going, but hoping he has a great time celebrating him. So thank you, Press. Let's celebrate you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Elsie. Covers on her healing journey from surgery yesterday morning. Now that that's out the way, we get to pretty much get ready to get started with episode 58. But this right here picture was a former guest we had again, right? Divine Alignment with John Thompson, who is a current freshman at Howard University. He's a golfer at Howard University. I had the opportunity, thanks to his dad, Mr. Thompson, who sent me a care package on behalf of John from Trap Golf, who is a sponsor for John. I mean, to be a freshman and have your own sponsor so far, that's got to be incredible. But had the opportunity to see John play. It was a 3-day tournament that Howard was participating in. I drove down to Maryland on Saturday. And to meet this man in person, I mean, just to pick his brain, between the holes, I wasn't really supposed to do that, but, membership has its privileges. And John is laser focused. I mean, he didn't have the greatest of days, day 2, but that Sunday, day 3, he was able to find himself right back in competition, finishing top 10 in that tournament, and then using that to pretty much jumpstart him as they go on the rest of the year. This tournament here was the first tournament that John had been in 6 months. So from all the months of preparation and preparing and working on his short game, working on his long game, getting his drive right, having his putt game where it needs to be, it was good to see him in person and to see his work really on display. I think John can put the ball anywhere on the course. He can drive the ball anywhere. He has a really good knowledge for the game and knows his breaking points in terms of which club to use for that particular hole. And one of the amazing moments from that tournament was to see his patience and his composure, because it was a particular hole where he needed a birdie to stay alive. And this just speaks greatness. This just speaks being prepared for the moment. Needed a birdie to stay alive. And he got that birdie at the right time to keep him alive. So it was good to meet the rest of Howard's golf team as well that was there on that Saturday. And look, they have some talent there. And John's a really, really good golfer. And I know the sky's the limit for him as he continues to go on his young career. He'll be a professional before it's all said and done. I guarantee that, because John Thompson can play some golf. So I look forward to seeing him again this year, getting out to the golf course and working on my game, because the weather's breaking here in New Jersey. So I'll be able to work on my game, and I'll keep you guys in the loop. So all grace to the good Lord. Appreciate the opportunity to be here once again. And 2 good guests. Let's get one of them in here by the name of Aaron Foye, who is a sophomore at let me get this right. At he's gonna have to pronounce it because I'm screwing up already. Your Cyrus, there it is, your Cyrus College, competing in Division III track currently in field while staying grounded in faith with Jesus Christ. He serves as a commentator for men's and women's basketball and aspires to a career as a sports broadcaster. Aaron is also on the executive board of the Association of Christian Athletics, helping lead efforts to serve Christ and share his message. So from one broadcaster to another, love the way that sounded. We want to introduce Aaron Foye to episode 58, Final Four edition. Aaron, I appreciate you making the time to come join us on episode 58. You're not in the hot seat, but I can't promise you won't be in the hot seat before this episode is all said and done. But all grace to the good Lord, brother. Good to see you. Young Black King, young broadcaster. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here, Monty. It's been a while. We've been trying to get this done for a little bit. That's when you first reached out to me, but it's very fun here. And like you said, I had to help you out with that pronunciation at my school. Ursinus right there.
Look, to all the people at Ursinus, I'm sorry. I got it right. Aaron, that's what happens when you're a broadcaster. Pronunciation is very, very important, and your transition and your delivery. So I'm happy that I was corrected. So I want no bad blood. I love you guys. I appreciate you for allowing one of your finest to come on this episode. But it's gonna be a good one, man. How you feeling, man? Are you prepared? Are you ready?
I'm ready, man. I've been waiting for this for a while. I'll make sure. I'm ready. I'm ready. Been watching some episodes, making sure. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Look at that. I mean, I wish personally you could have got to experience. I'm sure you will as you go on your journey and continue to put your faith into the Lord Jesus Christ. Because I don't come up here and talk holy and religious. I just try to come up here and be positive and share positive love and positive spirits. Because at the end of the day, we're all going through some things behind closed doors, and you have to be able to check up on your people and be able to make sure that they're good. Because if people in your circle know you, they know when something's right and when something's wrong. So, just want to make sure that we're on the same page tonight, because we can easily be in a boxing match between one another. Because if you say something wrong tonight about Michigan, it's going to be some furniture moving. I'm telling you that right now.
We're going to start getting ready. I'm sorry. I don't believe in Michigan. I'm letting you know right now.
Oh, man. You don't let Chris got into your ear, huh? Arizona. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Let him know.
I don't like the way tonight's starting out. We might have to cancel and come back next week. I'm just playing.
Oh, man.
Get our second guest in here. Her birthday is coming up on Saturday, so happy early birthday. But by the name of Olivia Rose, she's currently a junior at Pace University in New York City, studying digital and audio journalism and communications with aspirations of becoming a broadcaster and a talk show host with a background in horseback riding. Did I read that right? With a background in horseback riding and a passion for ballet, she is especially interested in the representation of women in sports through a feminist lens. Now, Olivia, I know your birthday's on Saturday, but I had a guest on here that has a passion and has a joy for horseback riding and ballet. You're the first. You are first.
I love to be the first.
Well, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on here. Honestly, let me just preface, this is such an amazing opportunity. You reaching out to me, it was just so exciting, and I've been excited ever since. I'm just happy to be here and honestly give my opinions. I feel like I have a lot, though I am not too familiar with the world of sports in general. Yes, I do have the background in horseback riding and ballet. Okay. I'm just ready to give, honestly, how I feel about the world and how they treat feminine sports, honestly, and women and athletes. I've dealt with it and I've seen it, so I'm just ready to talk about it.
Good. I do have aspirations before I die to ride a horse. Before I die.
You should. Right? Have you never been on a horse?
I've never been on a horse. No.
When I hear that, I get shocked because I mean, yes, of course. But I mean, I did horseback riding for 9 years of my life. I did it competitively for about 6 years of that.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, I almost went to school actually for horseback riding, but I ended up not wanting to be in the location that was offering it to me. So it's just a passion now.
So that means you can help me out and set me up for success when I ride the horse.
Oh, absolutely. I have tried to get so many of my friends to come to some lessons with me just so I could try to show them how it is, but
yes,
no avail yet.
Invite me, yes, because I'm gonna name the horse. If the horse don't have a name, I'm gonna name it.
Please do.
I'm gonna name the horse Tex. I'm gonna call him Big Tex.
That's Big Tex is waiting for you.
Big Tex. So when the opportunity presents itself, right, divine alignment, I need the invitation. I'm gonna get my cowboy gear ready. I'm gonna get my big old Tex hat. All right, I won't be for the great state of Texas. I'm wearing because I'm getting ready to ride a horse. Set me up for success. Have my boots on, and I'm ready. I mean, I don't know about the part. I don't know about that. You can have the ballroom dancing. I can't. Aaron, I'm not sure if that's what you into. I can't. Me ballet, no horseback. I'm all for that. Get me on a horse. Let's make it happen. So speaking of which, your birthday is coming up on Saturday. Do you want to share, how it feels, entering another milestone in your young life, I should say, young college career as you're 1 year away from graduating. So what does this birthday mean to you as it approaches on this upcoming Saturday?
Honestly, I've been doing a lot of course, reflecting leading up to my birthday. I feel like every birthday honestly leads to that in any sense. For me, it kind of just is solidifying that I'm actually older than I feel like I may present myself or feel like I am. I know that there's been like a lot of conversation with people saying like, oh, I'm 35 years old, but I still feel like I'm 15. I'm only 20 and I still feel like I'm 15 years old. But with this new era turning 21 years old, I really just feel like it's going to ground me a lot more and just solidify this new era in my life that I have to step into and that I've been wanting to step into for so long. Because I do feel like as much as I feel 15, I feel like I also embody that in multiple occasions where I'll just believe that I'm younger than I feel or younger than I am. So I think being 21 will definitely show me that I actually am older than I feel it. And I think that's just going to help me a lot.
Well, I can't speak for you, but I know what 21 meant for me. wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But 21 is a milestone. It's officially you being a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more to life that you have not yet experienced or seen. And that's the beauty of life, right? The opportunity to get to go through and learn through those things and grow through these things and different challenges. And I think for you, embrace it, enjoy it, because it only happens once. Yep. And the time between now and Saturday of you being 20, and then when Saturday at 12 o'clock hits, or Friday going into Saturday at 12 o'clock and you're 21, everything else pretty much changes, right? Your mindset, your mentality, the way you go about things, because what you used to do, you can no longer do anymore.
Exactly.
So enjoy it. I know you're going to have some party plans with your friends, your girlfriends. Y'all can go out there and live the 21 life and but enjoy it. You deserve it. You deserve it. Aaron, you got some time now. All right. You have some time.
I got like only a couple months.
Appreciate.
Oh, he's right around the corner.
I got a couple more months. September.
I got two young Jedis. You know, September is after the greatest month, right? Leo's in August. Just want to let you know that. All right. Just want to let you know. If you Leo season is the best season. Are you kidding me?
I can attest. I love Leos.
Thank you, Olivia. She understands me. Yes. She understands me. That's the best time of the year.
I don't know about all that.
You don't know about all that?
I don't know about all that. No. I think September is right where it's supposed to be. Best place.
Oh, man. Our best place is supposed to be. All right. Y'all ready for tonight's episode?
Absolutely.
Y'all ready?
Ready.
Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this. Let's get into it. Women's basketball NCAA Final Four preview is here, and we have the 4 number 1 seeds as what I predicted in my women's bracket when I did the bracket reveal a few weeks ago here on the Rewind, and I predicted that all 4 number 1 seeds would be in the Final Four. So we have South Carolina, UConn, Texas, and then UCLA, all 4 dominant schools, of 4 best schools in the country. Let's just call it for what it has been. If you didn't know, UConn is looking to repeat back-to-back after winning last year against who? South Carolina. But we get a rematch between these two teams, between UConn Huskies and the South Carolina Gamecocks. The last 10 meetings between these two programs has been an even split at 5-5. So this upcoming Friday, someone's got to break the draw because they both have had each other's numbers in the last 10 meetings. Currently, UConn is sitting at 38-0. South Carolina is sitting at 35-3. Both teams offensively are at a high motor and a high clip, averaging over 87 points per game. And look, UConn has arguably 3 first-round draft picks in their starting lineup, but we know they have 2 for sure, and that's with Sarah Strong and Ozzie Foye. But no sleeper cannot take away the fact of the season that South Carolina's guard has had with Joyce Edwards. She's been leads the team in scoring, has been pretty much a driving force for this Gamecock squad the entire season. But this game is pretty much more important to me than Texas and UCLA because of the meaning of this game. We know the 2 teams between Gino Auriemma, UConn's head coach, and then, of course, South Carolina's Dawn Staley. These 2 teams and these 2 coaches know these programs through thick and thin. It's going to be a chess match. It's going to be a war on Friday. Winner advances to the national championship game in Phoenix. Aaron, I'll start with you. Looking ahead at this game, do you believe that UConn is the gold standard of women's college basketball, or is South Carolina officially taking over women's basketball right now with the opportunity to advance to another Final Four?
I mean, I think that UConn definitely has. That's definitely still gold standard, fighting for another title. They need to defend your name against a team like South Carolina, which you have run into in the past. It's just a couple of things they need to work on for sure. Like the three-pointer was not very efficient for them against Notre Dame. So they need to work on, make sure that doesn't happen. And then either way, throughout the entire tournament, they've been very dominant. They've not allowed any teams to score more than over 50 points besides two of them. And I think that, like you mentioned, like Ozzie Foye and Sarah Strong have definitely been very helpful to their program. But Foye, last game only had 13. They'll probably see a little bit more of that. And then just the surrounding cast needs to repeat what they've done and just keep having some great production. But South Carolina, Philly, hard in my heart, hometown, Dawn Staley, love watching her perform, love watching her have great success. And then for the team-wise, they just have to come out stronger than what they did against TCU. They came out very flat-footed, and they finally figured out throughout the middle of that first quarter. And then just Joyce Edwards being amazing as she's been all season is something they really need to look forward to as well.
The matches between these two teams are going to be pretty much great to see because of the year that UConn has had being undefeated. And then, of course, with the year and some of the challenges that South Carolina's had and adversity that they face, this right here is for all the marbles. I believe the winner of this game is going to win a national championship. And there's no shade to UCLA or Texas, but I just believe these two teams here are built for a national championship game and a national championship win because of the season that they've endured on, the conferences that they play in, the tournament that they went through in terms of some of the teams that they had to get through. And listen, Notre Dame gave UConn hell the first half of that game. Third quarter is when UConn started to pull away. But at the end of the day, we knew that Notre Dame just didn't have enough firepower. Despite the performance that we've seen from Hannah Adawa, we know that she would have had to had a miraculous, stunning performance, just like she had the previous year. So it'll be exciting to see between this one. I do want to get Olivia's take on this because we know UConn has star-studded talent and WNBA prospects currently like Sarah Strong. But what do you expect to see between these two teams on Friday night?
Honestly, and I hate to say it, but of course I'm not too familiar with exactly what it looks like on the court or what exactly they look like on the court, but I expect to see a lot of passion. That is just what I admire mostly about what I see with female athletes, with women athletes in general. I know that they're going to be very strong in what they want to do. And I do feel like we are going to see, which is something that I feel like we usually see, which is something that I will be talking about later, a lot of controversy that may come from that. I think that certain athletes may present themselves as maybe aggressive or whatever, but it's literally just raw passion and it's pure dedication and for their craft, obviously, and they want to win, obviously, for their team and for themselves and for everyone who is looking out for them. But I do feel like we may see a bit of backlash from the media from what we may see on the court. That is what I can expect.
Well, one thing we do know between these two teams is that they both like to share the sugar. And both teams pretty much UConn's averaging so far the tournament, averaging over 23 assists a game. South Carolina averaging over 18 assists a game. So we know that both teams like to get their other contributing partners involved in the game throughout it. We know South Carolina's last loss was against Texas, which was on March 8th. But since then, they've been on a pretty much a tear in terms of winning games. And of course, we know that UConn taking care of business against Notre Dame and the Elite Eight, 70-52 was your final. This right here is for all the marbles. This right here is what it comes down to. Right now, they have UConn at a 64% chance to win the game against South Carolina. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take UConn to win. Sarah Strong is going to have an amazing game. The year that UConn has had, I just don't see South Carolina disrupting that. Gino has been on a tear. This is another year where he has a chance to win another national championship, back-to-back national championships for the first time in a long time. And look, we've seen the trend in college basketball, particularly in women's, when you are on a tear, when you are on that wave of winning and if not winning again, it's really hard to tear down that mantle. And I'm not taking anything away from Edwards, who's been a force, leads the team in scoring, averaging over 19 points a game. South Carolina's going to need that and then some. We know that Raven Johnson for South Carolina, who leads a team in rebounds, she's going to have to be a force on the boards because UConn has the size, they have the depth, they control the tempo, they share the sugar. and they're really, really, really passionate on the defensive end in terms of creating and causing chaos, and that's creating turnovers that lands to transition points going the other way. So it'll be interesting to see on Friday night. This game will be at 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN, but giving the UConn Huskies to advance to the national championship and improving to 39-0, and that's beating Dawn Staley again against South Carolina and advancing. Aaron, quick pick. Who do you like and why? South Carolina or UConn?
I think I just got to give it to UConn. Like you mentioned, just UConn having that star power, not having any losses on the season, and just being able to have that championship pedigree to want to win again.
That's it. Olivia, quick pick. Who do you like, UConn or the Gamecocks?
I'm going to go with UConn. I'm definitely biased because that was like my top second pick for schools. And I almost really went. My dad is obsessed with UConn. We love UConn in this family. But I also just am very, very obsessed with Paige Bueckers. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Beckers. Paige Bueckers. I'm obsessed with her. I love her. I just see a lot of power on that team from what I've seen through media portrayals, whatever is on my For You page. I'm biased. I love them.
Yeah, and keep a note out for Bianca Quinones, who's been pretty much a really good piece for UConn this year, but picked up her game in the tournament, especially the last few games coming off the bench for UConn, giving them production, giving them minutes, quality minutes, and giving them pretty much good points off the bench is what you need, being the third leading scorer on the team. So this would be a good one, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. We get a rematch from last year's national championship game. And in great words of Jim Ross, let's get it on. So see you on Friday. Flip side, we go to the other Final Four game, and that's between Texas and UCLA. Texas is chasing another title for the first time. The last time they won was 1987, while UCLA is looking to break through on the biggest stage, and that's to get their first national championship and program history. Not sure how realistic that is right now, but they have a tough battle. Texas is back in the Final Four as a defensive powerhouse, being one of the top defensive teams in the country this season. Texas ranks amongst the nation's best in defensive efficiency. So my question is, can UCLA's skill and bets neutralize Texas' physical dominance, or does Texas have enough willpower to overcome bets in this game with the play that she has produced for UCLA throughout the tournament? Who do you guys like to win between these two to advance to the Final Four, Texas or UCLA? Aaron, I'll start with you.
I think I'm going to give it to UCLA. UCLA just has that great team chemistry. The star four players have been playing together since freshman year. Also, just what they've seen against Texas kind of having that little bit at the beginning of the year where they had that little bit of a shaky start. I think that UCLA has more weapons that they can use to go against the physicality of Texas.
Olivia, who do you like?
I'm going to go with UCLA once again. To pull from Aaron's point, I was going to say exactly that. I have seen great team chemistry with UCLA's team in general. I feel like if they're going to try to neutralize Texas, it would start with Lauren Betts. I don't think that she's just big. I think that she's a skilled anchor, honestly, who can control the tempo, at least from what I've seen. I think that she's going to honestly just try to outmuscle Texas, and I think she's going to succeed with that.
Yeah.
I can't believe y'all sat up here and said UCLA, but I can't be mad at it. Again, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it. It's who you want to win to advance to the national championship. But look, listen, let me put it like this. No shade to the Big Ten at all this year for women's basketball. Michigan has represented the Big Ten very well, being in a tournament, but losing and going home. But I'm going to lean with Texas. Texas, they are coming back with a vengeance after being here last year, not making it to the Final Four. Texas has pretty much, you talk about returning players, you talk about chemistry, you talk about players playing with each other for a few years now. It's been Madison Brooks, it's been Rory Harmon, it's been Jordan Lee. These three players right here for Texas is pretty much the nuclear in terms of the style of play and how they play with the tempo that they play. We know Texas like to push the ball, like to get out in transition, push the pace. But listen, the year that Madison Brooks has had, averaging over 19 points a game this year for the Longhorns, being that star player and stepping up to the challenge just as much as picking up where she left off from last year. I just like Texas because of what they endured during regular season conference play in the SEC, beating a team like South Carolina, which is not easy to do at all, especially in SEC play. And look, this is Texas' year where I feel as though they just get over the hump and they get to a national championship game. I don't know if they're going to win because that'll be on Friday. But listen, UCLA, no shade to them at all in the season that they had, 35-1, number 1 seed. They deserve it, being, pretty much dominant in the Big Ten. But when we talk about conferences in terms of style of play and preparation, SEC just has that more dominance of schools like LSU, like South Carolina, like Texas in itself. So give me Texas to win. So we'll get UConn versus Texas in the national championship game. Give me UConn to cut down the nets. Gino wins another back-to-back. I believe his 14th national championship, if I'm not mistaken. He's running out of hands to put the rings on. Maybe he'll start putting them on his feet. I'm just not sure. Give me Texas in the national championship against UConn. So if that's the case, Aaron and Olivia, you have UConn and UCLA. Who do you guys like to win the national championship between those two teams?
UConn.
UConn. Exact same.
We all on the same page. I love when a plan comes together. We're all on the same page, and that's picking UConn to win it all, to win a national championship. Texas and UCLA, you can catch that game. That'll be the late game, 9:30 Eastern time on Friday on ESPN. Right now, UCLA is at a 51% chance to win to Texas's 48%. For all the people that's for the 48%, let it ride. Let's go Longhorns. Hook 'em, baby. Hook 'em, and hook 'em. Fast forward, we transition to the men's side where I can't wait because we're down to 4. We have UConn women's in the Final Four, but also, if you didn't know, we have the UConn men's in the Final Four. Talk about dominance between two school programs who are historic for winning national championships. I know Gino has set the tone and the standard for the women's side, but what the job that Coach Dan Hurley has done for the UConn Huskies, winning 3 out of 4 getting to a Final Four, 3 out of 4 years in the Final Four, winning 2 national championships, proclaiming himself to be one of the best, if not the best, college coach in the country. But UConn versus Illinois, 2 seeds. We have 2 number 1 seeds, Arizona versus Michigan. But let's talk about UConn and Illinois first. Illinois having a pretty much a dominant of game to get to the Final Four. But for those of you who did not know, UConn was down 19 on Sunday against Duke with the Boozer brothers, with Edwards. I'm sorry, not Edwards, with Evans, the star guard for Duke, having Caleb Foster return, but not being 100%. They were up 19, and UConn just kept creeping and kept fighting and kept staying composed and kept fighting. And before you know it, that lead was shortened to 6 to 3 to then go up 1 to win it all, to advance to another Final Four game. But this 2 teams right here, what Illinois has achieved this year in the Big Ten, yes, they didn't win a Big Ten championship, but they've been one of the pretty much dominant teams so far in the tournament and pretty much being consistent in terms of not turning the ball over, being really composed in big moments. 28-8 on the year. They were a 3 seed coming to the tournament. UConn being a 2 seed at 33-5. Aaron, this game here is going to come down to pretty much who's going to have the better edge in terms of the boards, because both teams are really good rebounding teams. But you have Wagler for Illinois in the game that Reed Jr. had against Duke. I mean, just the way he came out in the first half, setting the tone for the offense, pretty much playing through him, playing inside out, which is what we see in today's game of college basketball, especially in the pros, who are more outside in. But his game down low, Duke didn't have an answer for him in the first half, nor did they have an answer for him in the second half, leading the team in scoring. What do you look forward to seeing between these 2 teams, UConn and Illinois, on Saturday in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, UConn with that excellent comeback against Duke a lot. I actually do have UConn making it to the championship before this game. But either way, I just am very surprised at what I saw out of Terrace Reed, especially with that team down 20. But at the same time, I'm not surprised because I actually not know him, but I've watched this UConn team for a while. I actually have a cousin, RJ Cole, who had played on the team the year before they won their national championship. And I also was able to watch Tyrese Martin with that team. And so watching that team being successful for so long and just have that knowing about what it takes to get over the edge is definitely something that I'm not surprised to see out of UConn. And just Terrace Reed Jr. showing out and just being the main guy that Dan Hurley can call on has been amazing. But Illinois also with Keaton Wagler, that guy has been amazing all season. He did have a little bit of an iffy time. It's kind of something that I kind of left him out of my draft prospects. We're going to talk about a little bit later. But he's been a game changer that allowed this first trip to the Final Four in 21 years for Illinois. Just something that just being all around is something that's really surprised me. I did not expect Illinois to make it this far at all. But this game is going to be one that comes down to simply who wants it more. And I think UConn did the experience of it, but Illinois is also having the ability to try to fight off their name to get that championship matchup. It's going to be one to watch for sure.
Listen, Olivia, before I turn to you, Reed Jr. having 26 points, 10 of 16 from the field, 9 rebounds, led the team in scoring, but pretty much was the difference maker in the game versus Duke. His partners did step up when it mattered most. We know Caravan hit that. He had a really bad day at the office through the first 4 quarters, but it's just staying ready, so you have to get ready, being in game ready mode, knocking down a big 3 that UConn desperately needed late in that second half. But no shade for what Aaron was saying. Spot on with Wagler. 25 points in the win against Iowa, 8 of 17 from the field. Didn't have the greatest of night shooting from 3, finishing 2 of 7. But if there's one player that UConn better have their eyes on and T's crossed, that's Stojakovic for Illinois' father, who is Peja Stojakovic. He used to play in the NBA, who was a sharpshooter for the Hornets in his NBA career. 17 points. 7 to 9. Don't put the Sacramento Queens. Is that what it is? Sacramento Queens.
Hey, I'm reliving the good days. I'm reliving the good days when I talk about them right
now. The Sacramento Queens. I'm sorry. Is that who it was?
Days.
17 points, 7 to 9 from the field. He didn't shoot a single 3. That's the scary part. If you're UConn looking at the box score and looking at the tape from the win over Iowa, this is going to be a game where it's going to come down to who wants it more. These are two teams that pretty much are well solid across the board. Both have bigs, both can rebound, both share the ball, both have really good guard play, both have senior leadership in terms of years on the team that have been with Coach Underwood, both on UConn and, of course, on Illinois. But, Olivia, give me your pick. Who do you like to advance to the Final Four, UConn or Illinois? Don't you pick Illinois.
That's okay, because I hope you guys aren't getting tired of me saying UConn, because I'm going to say it again. Back to my bias. Also, just the way that you guys have been talking about this game specifically. Obviously, I'm not too familiar with what's going on with this game, but it does sound like, yes, like who wants it more, who's going to represent it more. That sounds like a really exciting thing to watch. And I think based on what I know, based on what I've seen, I feel like UConn is going to come out with the win again.
That'll be the first game on Saturday, 6:09 Eastern time on TBS, as experience matters. And if there's one person who's been here before, knows what it takes to get to a national championship, it is Dan Hurley. No shade to Coach Brad Underwood, head coach of Illinois, because this is the first time that Illinois has been here, I believe, since 2005 in a Final Four. So they're making history in itself. But same time, when you get to this game and moments like this, you have to have your team prepared and have your team laser focused from start to finish. UConn has done that. They've been here recently. And if I know Dan Hurley will put out his best game plan yet to pretty much be able to defend and stop what Illinois offensively can do. And that's limiting the play of Wagler. That's limiting the play from Stojakovic. Force others to beat you. That's what Duke tried to do when they were up 19, but unfortunately it just didn't work out that way. So we'll see. That'll be the first game of 2 on Saturday, 6:09 Eastern time on TBS, and the game of the night pretty much for me and for everybody across the United States of America and the world to see. That's 2 number 1 seeds. It's the Michigan Wolverines at 35-3 versus the number 1 seed Arizona Wildcats at 36-2. 8:49 Eastern time on TBS. And look, listen, I know I have Michigan gear on. I'm a Michigan fan. I'm not biased. I'm a realist. It's a big difference, right? I might not be a realist when Michigan plays Ohio State, because I'm going to always root for the maize and blue. But however, these two teams are the 2 best teams in all of college basketball. I've said it previously before the tournament even started. I did say that that Arizona had an easier path to get to a Final Four compared to all the other number 1 seeds at that time, Michigan being the other number 1 seed still standing here in the tournament. We know that 2 teams, they win in completely different ways. Arizona has depth. Michigan has depth. That is something that is a fact. Arizona averaging mid-80s points per game, I believe 83, 84 points per game, something that Michigan can easily do. They've dropped 100 points multiple times this year throughout the season, as well as close to in a tournament. We know that Arizona loves to play with up-tempo and with efficiency. They do take care of the basketball. But one thing that I will say about the Wolverines is that their offense is extremely, extremely disciplined, because they rarely turn the ball over, shooting at a high efficiency, shooting at a high clip. Dustin May doesn't has not got the respect and love that he deserves. And America owes him an apology because a lot of people didn't have Michigan even get to the Final Four, but I did. Then flip side, I want to give Tommy Lloyd his flowers because what he's been able to do to revamp this Arizona Wildcat program since taking over has been tremendously, tremendously impressive because Arizona yet finds itself in the Final Four, which has pretty much been the Wildcat standard from back in the day, even when Steve Kerr was a former player there, Richard Jefferson, Gilbert Arenas, etc. This is what they do. They live in March. These two programs live in March. And now we have the opportunity to see these two teams, the best two teams. And let me just say this. Whoever wins this game, of course, I want to say Michigan, but whoever wins this game is going to win a national championship. That's just how I see it. These are the two best teams in all of college basketball. But Olivia, I'll start with you because you've been riding with UConn, but I hope you can lean and make me happy for once. And it's the two number one seeds going at it on Saturday night to advance to a Final Four in Indy. Who do you like, the Wolverines or the Wildcats?
Well, I'm going to make you very happy and say that I'm definitely on your side with this for sure. I think, once again, I have some bias. I've got like 30 billion friends at Michigan. It seems like one of the best schools in the world. I visited it like 4 times. I love the spirit there. I know that there's a lot of enthusiasm. I know that there's a lot of dedication as well that's underlying behind the scenes. And I just think that has been executed so many times and we're just going to see it again.
Well,
hope I made you happy.
Oh, you made me extremely happy, Aaron. Now is not the time to go left because I know you want Arizona. But Mr. Lundenberg will have something to say to that and disagree with you. The season that he's having, Johnson Jr. will disagree with that. Elliot could I can't say I'm a Michigan fan. I always pronounce his name wrong. Elliot could damn it. Excuse me. Shoot me. Shame on me. I want to give an apology to his parents, his mom. I'm friends with her on Facebook. I am so sorry. I mispronounced your son's name, Elliot Kadu. I'm going to say Kadu because I feel like that's the right word, but I could be wrong. But listen, Aaron, tread lightly. Okay. Because if you're going to pick Arizona, you better tell the world why you think Arizona is going to win.
Well, Monty, I'm sorry, but I am picking Arizona. I think that it's just going down to like Yaxel's dominant player. He's going for sure being an NBA. I love how his season is going, but you cannot ignore how the duo of Koa Pete and Braden Burris have played throughout this entire season. The two-headed monster. That's right. The multiple 20-point performances for Pete, and he's shooting well, and Burris' defense showing up against Purdue. The 3 steals that he also had. I think that Arizona has a great style of play where they're able to be level-headed and not just rely on those two, but also have people they can kick out to as well. Similar to Michigan, but we all see a lot of times that Yaxel Lundenberg is the guy that they can rely on mostly. And so we have the common dominance that Arizona can be able to shut down that squad off on the defensive end because they only limited Purdue to, I believe, not Purdue. Yeah, but Purdue is to 64 points. So it's something I really see Arizona be able to take control of and advance to the national championship.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we put a wager on that?
Can we put a wager on that?
Or can put dinner or something? Because anyone that disrespect Michigan, especially in a time like this with all the marbles on the line, to advance to a national championship game, I have a problem with that. So I need to see if you really bow to win it.
I'm put it down. What are we betting here? What do you want to give out? I'm willing to put down that Arizona can take over this Michigan team, and I'll be watching closely.
Olivia, do you believe this?
You see, once again, obviously I'm not fully immersed in the world, but I feel like I just haven't even seen much of Arizona. Obviously that has to do with, different media coverages and different For You pages and stuff like that. But I really haven't seen much of Arizona. So solely because of that, I feel like Michigan obviously there's other reasons, but I feel
Aaron, we'll bet. Let's bet dinner. Let's bet dinner. Let's bet dinner. Arizona, Michigan, Saturday night, the best game of all the games that's taking place on Saturday between Illinois and UConn. This will be the game to see. It's the last game, the late game, 8:49 Eastern time to tip off on TBS. 35-3 versus 36-2. Tommy Lloyd versus Dustin May. Let's get it on, and yet Bryant will not be able to join us, or is not joining us tonight, but yet he given us his prediction.
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Oh, man, it feels like I'm on ESPN here. But as you can see, I am fully bearded today. Tomorrow I won't be. But here, just to give my final 4 picks, as we said 2 weeks ago, I think it was, that I had 2 sheets. I had my brackets, one with Florida making the Final Four with Duke and Arizona and Michigan. And my second sheet here, if you can see it, my second sheet had Duke, which they lost, and it had Illinois in the Final Four. And Mr. Moss said I was crazy. And our guest said that Jay had Illinois in the Final Four as well. And he said, I must be out of my mind. Well, guess what? I must be out of my mind because Illinois is in the Final Four. And I've been watching them 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 times this year. And I sat there and I watched Stojakovic. I thought he was very good. But that last game he showed, his ass is tough as hell. I would draft him in the top 5 of my picks. If I'm in the NBA and I'm looking for a good guard, he is that. Without any question, he is that dude. And if he's playing better than his father, and his father has won all those championships with San Antonio, I am taking him immediately. If he slides all the way down with Chicago, they trying to get all the foreign players anyway, so you might as well get the best one of the best. Stojakovic, he is that guy. And I have them in a close game, a very close game, winning and beating UConn by 1 point. It's going to come down to that. 1 point. Athleticism versus athleticism. They are very, very similar teams. I think Illinois has the edge because they have a little bit better talent, and those guys played pro ball before. These guys, they're playing against guys that haven't played pro, and they know the game, and they can shoot their lights out. I think Illinois is going to come back with all this rest in between, and they go come out and beat UConn. My score prediction of that game is 75-74. Illinois going to the finals. Switching over to Arizona and Michigan. Go Blue. I think we're going to have a Big Ten final. I just feel it for whatever reason. And I told Monty and our crew, what happens if we have a Big Ten final for the first time? I don't think we've ever seen it, but I think it's possible. Everyone has Arizona winning this game. I have Michigan also winning this game by 1.5 points. It's no question. It's going to be that close. I will be very disappointed if Michigan lose because it's like Arizona has a good starting 5, but their bench is not better than Michigan's bench. That's going to come down to who has the fresh legs in the 4th quarter to pull this out. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to lead probably exchange about 8 or 9 times. Defensively, these teams play hard. It's not like last year where Florida, they play solid defense. Houston, this group of guys with Arizona and Michigan play hard on both sides. This is going to be the game of the year, and I've been waiting for it, and I also got a $20 bet. And I'm telling you, Michigan is going to pull this out, and I can see Michigan, Illinois in the finals for a Big Ten championship because Michigan lost in the Big Ten championship, and they're getting their revenge twice. And that is my take.
Bryant, not using his brain again, probably didn't watch any of the games, is picking Illinois to beat UConn after the game UConn had on Sunday to advance to the national championship game. So Big Ten national championship between Illinois and Michigan. Either way, Michigan's cutting down the nets. I'm just going to just call for what it is and how it's going to go and all it will be, right? The words of manifestation, speaking into existence. So I'll look forward to Aaron treating me to dinner. I look forward to Michigan beating Arizona on Saturday night. And I look forward to calling Aaron after Michigan wins, because I know our producer Chris is rooting for Arizona as well by default because he's a Ohio State Buckeye fan. So I clearly know why he's doing that. So we shall see. We shall see.
I'll be rested. I'll be recovering from my track meet that day. I'll be watching right there. I got my TV right here. I'll be like, I'm gonna wait for that phone call when the final score shows Arizona's beating Michigan. And I was like, I don't see the phone call coming. I'm trying to figure out where we're going to go for dinner.
Gotta love it, folks. That is why we do what we do here on the Rewind. And Olivia, it's time to put you in the hot seat because you've been really talking to you previously before tonight's episode, pretty much picking your brain on what avenue you want to go down. Because again, we have the luxury of having our guests have a voice as well. But listen, at the end of the day, it's about sociological aspects of women in sports, men versus women in sports. And I know this is a topic that you are passionate to talk about, but haven't had the opportunity to talk about. But what an opportunity God has blessed you with to talk about it here on episode 58 of The Rewind. So talk to us a little bit about that, as well as what's your stand and your take on sociological aspects of women in sports.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this. A lot of things I've got to say. Let me just premise it with, I honestly feel like I've always had the question of if we should even be comparing women versus men in sports, because I feel like all the underlying inequalities don't even let us do that. So when we start from there, I think that the whole concept of women in sports, first of all, it's an early thing, kind of, so it started much later than men in sports, of course. So when we try to compare their history, I feel like it can get a bit unbalanced solely because of this aspect that women started much later. So that's already number one. Number two, I feel like people tend to forget this, and it only adds to the harmful stigmas that people have regarding women in sports. I mean, how long have we excluded women from sports and from the game in general? So they've only been very new to this recently. And I feel like there's just so many negative connotations. There's so many stigmas and so much that the media has to say about it that I don't think is being fully articulated. Something that I really wanted to know is I've seen a lot of people say that women get paid less because we see them less, but I just don't think that's the case. It's all about the media coverage and the amount of media coverage that they are receiving, which is kind of what I was getting into a little bit with Arizona. Obviously, that's men's basketball, but I do feel like media coverage has a lot to do with how women are represented and what we see through them. I think we lack it in total, in general. And I always question why this investment is different in the first place. But obviously it's the patriarchy. So we have that to thank. And I think that women, something that I'm very passionate about is women being heavily judged for their appearance or the amount of femininity that they may express on and off the court. Male athletes are expected to be dominant and simply good at their work, but women are constantly ridiculed for their appearance or being too aggressive or showing off as too masculine when come on, like sports are genuinely inherently dominant. You're supposed to be physical. You're supposed to be aggressive. You're supposed to have passion. And when women have that, it's just get them off the court. They're too much. And I'm very sick and tired of seeing that. I think there's a huge double standard with all this as well. And implementing these stigmas only leads to more discourse that I feel is just the most unnecessary discourse that we've ever dealt with. When I think about this, I honestly look towards how people treated Serena Williams, Simone Biles, and a more recent athlete, Caitlin Clark. When we think about Caitlin Clark, at least what I've seen through social media, she's constantly always assumed to be queer or gay in general, but she's just not. She's in a loving relationship with a man. I'm not sure if they are married or not, but she is in a loving relationship and she has been for a while. And people just constantly assume different things of her or are expecting different things of her because of the way that she presents herself, the way that she behaves, maybe in interviews or on the court. And people just are ridiculing this. And it's just stupid, honestly, for me to see because who the fuck cares? Honestly, excuse my language. But yeah, I'm just sick of that. And when we see Simone Biles, which is such a passionate thing, she was slandered. She was literally thrown against the wall time and time again for her hair when she was in competition at these gymnastic meets. I did gymnastics for only like 2 months as a child, but I'm a Black girl. I did gymnastics. Simone and I have the same hair type. My hair looked just like hers when I was on the mats doing the tumbles and climbing the freaking rope or whatever. She is in a national competition. I don't really understand what people are expecting more of her, because I feel like other athletes that are non-Black as well also can have messy hair or whatever, or like some flyaways, and no one says anything. But if Simone doesn't have maybe beautiful braids or like a beautiful, like well-kept slick back, which I don't even know how that's possible after doing 30 somersaults in the air, she's ridiculed for that. And I'm sick of that. And then Serena Williams, she has been judged and slandered time and time again for her aggression on the court, when it's really just, I think I've said this before, it's just true raw dedication and raw passion. So I don't really understand what people are expecting. They want women to be classy and well kept on the court, but then it's fine if these men are tumbling around and pushing themselves and dragging themselves on the court as well, which I can't with that double standard. And yeah, more on actually like Serena and Simone Biles and Caitlin Clark, actually, all three of them kind of come into this conversation that I had about how Black and gay women athletes can face a bunch of intersectionality issues within how the media and how the public and the general common perception of women in sports is. It's not simply men versus women. I think it's more so the patriarchy versus society. And that is something that people are definitely struggling to explore more and think about more. I honestly want to ask how you guys think of everything that I'm saying. I've been saying a little bit, but mainly my point about how, like the intersectionality of these issues and how that plays into it. How have you guys seen this represented?
Well, Aaron, I'll lead quickly before we transition. Well, first off, I've been a big advocate for women in sports before this podcast or journey has even started. My current goal, as I'll keep speaking into existence, is to get a woman co-host, because I feel like a woman's voice and presence is important. Now, I know that at the end of the day, the media has its own way of having a take or view on different things or different aspects of women in sports. Mm-hmm. But the women that we see from a media perspective that have earned and went through and paid their dues and earned the privilege, for example, Maria Taylor, having gone through, being an alum at University of Georgia, transitioning to be at ESPN, being the host of College Game Day, contributing to ESPN in multiple different aspects, but then moving on, right? The power of the pivot, leaving a network, knowing that she didn't know what the outcome would be or what the future would look like. But again, when you bet on yourself and you believe in your characteristics and you believe in your work and you believe in your mindset and your mentality of how you do things, those good traits stick with it. Good things will follow, right? And then fast forward, now she made history, being the first Black woman to host the Super Bowl for NBC Sports, being a contributor to hosting the Olympics, Winter Olympics that just passed this past year, early on in the year after the Super Bowl. So I feel there at times can be a double standard depending on the particular athlete. But we talk about Caitlin Clark. She's box office. She put butts in seats. She sells tickets. She raises merchandise. She raises revenue for the Indiana Fever. She's done it at Iowa. The money she's brought in for the NCAA. I mean, transitional talent and someone of that atmosphere from a global perspective is always going to be viewed different when we talk about stars of the WNBA. We talk about Angel Reese. We talk about, of course, Asia Wilson, being the face and the force of the WNBA with the year she's had with the Aces and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying what you're saying is not wrong. I don't disagree with it. I think that the media, as well as the outsiders, I should say, have to do a better job of knowing what you're going to say before you say it. Because the fact that we're just going to say, oh, well, Serena's Black and Caitlin's white, and why does Caitlin as a white woman and a white athlete get these opportunities that a Black woman or a Black athlete can't get? Again, it's a double standard. I think it's wrong. But at the end of the day, the people are going to pour into what drives the needle and who moves the needle. And if Caitlin Clark's that person right now that's moving the needle for the WNBA, that's moving the needle with her appearances on NBC Sports in terms of sideline coverage or analyst or being a color commentator, that's just what it's all about. Viewership and ratings. That's the dominance of the TV world. If you're a person that doesn't drive the two or drive one or the other, then the reality is the networks and these high level executives at these companies and networks, they won't give you the push that some people need. I think Caitlin's got the push, but we need to put that same energy and that same mindset mentality into other stars that can do the same thing as Caitlin, but just aren't gifted the same opportunity. So no shade to what you're saying. I think what you're saying is spot on. And Aaron, I'll leave it to you if you have any remarks on what Olivia has said with women in sports.
Yeah, I definitely agree with exactly what you're saying. I actually am in a sports journalism class right now, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the year. It's a situation with Coco Gauff when she broke her record in the privacy of in her privacy, which she thought was going to be her privacy, in the tournament of the Australian Open. We saw a lot of people covering that. It just felt as though it was just not proper, and it's like the aggression that she showed is not something that she should have shown. But at the same time, it's like just because you're an athlete or just because you're a woman, you're still an athlete. Like that athletic mindset kicks in so much. Like the mental health and athletes something I advocate for a lot. Make sure that needs to be known. Actually, my roommate with me, we have a lot of conversations that we talk about the mental health, and it doesn't be limited to whether you're a male or a woman. That gets brought up in anything, and especially with Coco Gauff in the situation where she held in that emotion so much, like being on that public stage, being in there in that moment, and not being able to allow your frustrations after losing in the quarterfinals, and you're supposed to be, you're known as like the higher of the best players in the sport, and then finally getting the moment to express your emotions, which you thought was privately, to have that broadcasted, and then not having a lot of people understand what you're going through is a lot. I actually recently had that same moment where obviously I'm lucky not to have my opportunity broadcasted, but I had a bad track meet, and that just the emotion that came over me just was very loud, and I had to end up going to the locker room and just being very upset about it. But now, if I'm Coco Gauff, that same comfort isn't there for me, and especially saying like now you see as a woman is like just trying to be being so to me that's like more proper, like less emotional, and just like that's just not what you meant to be, because as an athlete, either way, that is what you are. It's not limited to what your gender is. You are going to have these emotions because you care about the passion, because you care about the sport, and your passion drives you so much.
Absolutely.
There you have it. Spot on, Olivia. Thank you for sharing and being passionate with joy and some of your takes that you led with. I thought it was really important. Again, having a voice for the voiceless. In a sense, and I mean voices in terms of people that can't speak, but just in terms of people that don't have the opportunities or platform to share or voice their opinions or concerns on what they see. And again, you're speaking from your own personal experience as an aspiring woman broadcaster, as an aspiring woman that wants to be in the media industry and woman in sports. So I applaud you for having the courage to do that. You've already defeated what most people don't, and that's the ability to speak up and share regardless of what the opinion of someone else may think of you. So kudos to you. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's very important. And we will continue to pour into you the way you pour into us here on The Rewind. So it's time for episode's 58th edition of Bryant Garvin's Unfiltered.
My Unfiltered. Bruce Pearl. First thing is, I'm happy that Uncle Charles, said what he said on national TV in front of Bruce Pearl. Remarkable. I wish he could have heard me clapping very hard, because I was very impressed by that, and it needed to be said because Bruce Pearl was out here blah 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 saying all this bullshit about how he feels, and I'm glad Uncle Charles said how he feels about immigrants. But we're not going to keep it political. Bruce Pearl, you need to keep it sports. That's where we want to keep it at, and I'm going to keep it there that way as well. Bruce Pearl said that Tennessee was going to bully Michigan. We see how that happened. Every time he says something, is 90% wrong. No wonder he can't win a national title. It's always wrong. The guy gets himself in trouble. He's been suspended. He lost his job, and he just keep getting job after job. I understand why now. But yet he's 90% of the time wrong. And he's wrong again. Look who's in the Final Four. It's not Tennessee. They didn't get bullied. I know you're an SEC guy, but SEC is not basketball. Keep it football, and they're losing that to the Big Ten now for over the past 3 years. Go Big Ten, go blue. Also, it came up to another situation where Duke and the players are being called kids, and everyone is making fun of the kids, the children. These are grown-ass men playing the basketball for a large amount of money, which I wish I had when I was playing. They're playing for millions of dollars before they even enter the NBA. They are not kids. They are grown men. Yes, they should be criticized. They are in college. They're getting paid to get criticized, get paid to freaking have commercials, etc., the NIL deals, blah, blah, blah. Stop saying that they're kids. Yes, they should have never turned the ball over. Yes, they wasn't prepared, even though Shire did go over the scenario right before, and the exact same thing happened. It's called mental aptitude. They cannot focus 100% of the time. Where I blame Shire, use your timeout, know your team. You knew under duress. They were too young to figure it out on their own. He took a dribble, bad decision. He didn't catch the ball, turn, pivot, see what was in front of him. Then he could put the ball on the floor and play keep away. He didn't do that. So now they are at home getting ready to watch Michigan and Arizona. Go blue.
There you have it. Coach Bryant's episode 15th edition of Unfiltered. He's at it again with Bruce Pearl. At this point, I think him and Bruce Pearl just probably need to set up a phone call and hash out the differences, because he's been on them since the tournament has started. We've transitioned to episode 58th edition of Floss with Moss, and it's the NBA 2026 draft preview here with Aaron Foye.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to get this opportunity.
Just gotta be a little patient, Aaron. There's some things that happens on the rewind. Just gotta be patient. But it's time for episode 58 edition of Floss with Moss. Just know that this segment is very flossy as we preview the 2026 NBA draft. We know the national championship is on this upcoming Monday night, but we know at the end of the term there will be some folks that will be pretty much declaring their name and putting it into the draft unless they want to return for another year of an NIL bag. We have Kingston Flemings out of Houston. We have Brandon Burries, of course, Arizona, who's Aaron's looking forward to seeing lose to Michigan on Saturday. Darius Akoff Jr., who's been an astonishing major star guard for Arkansas, as well as one of the top guards in the country, with leading the team in scoring. And Cameron Boozer, who was pretty much the best player for Duke this year, but also arguably the best player in the country. Aaron, with some of the prospects that we see potentially come out this year and enter their name into the 2026 NBA draft, what are some of the prospects out there that has pretty much been alarming and glooming to you that you look forward to seeing as they make that phase from college to the pros?
Well, obviously, we got to start with the first two, AJ DeBansa and Darren Peterson. Those two guys have been phenomenal, but I'm not going to be somebody that covers them because everybody's covering them. We know exactly what we're expecting to see. But like you mentioned, these four guys that I have, Kingston Flemings, Brandon Burries, Darius Akoff Jr., and Cameron Boozer. I'm going to start off with Cameron Boozer, the most likely to be the third overall pick in the draft. I mean, 6'9", 250 pounds, only 18 years old come draft day. It's been leading throughout the entire season, 22.5 points per game, which ranks him ninth in the nation, and then 10.2 rebounds as well. Very efficient in his shooting stream as well. It's not, a lot of his strengths for him comes from being very comfortable shooting from three. Like a lot of bigs that we see in this league and we're in college, you're kind of hesitant to let that three fly. But Boozer has no problem with that. He might not make it all the time, but he definitely has no problem. And that's something that teams will be looking to look for. If you're going to be somebody that can stretch the floor like him and Boozer, we need somebody that can knock it down for you. Strong as an ox, he's able to bully anybody down low. And it's something that will be able to hopefully, as he gets trained by other teams and trained by other players, learn how to do that against NBA competition. rebounder, and has some excellent consistency with whatever his play style is. But the weaknesses that I've seen in him is the lacking of rim protection. He's not the most dominant shot blocker, not the main guy you can see down low to prevent anything. But it doesn't mean he's unable to stop. But he's definitely, that's one of the weaker things that he has. Limited ability to run the 5. We have seen him try a little bit of this year, but it just hasn't been as efficient as him running the 4. And then not a real mid range for him. Not he just very hesitant to let that fly. Mostly he sticks from the 3 and sticks to the paint out of those 2 spots. So I think I have some pro comparison for him would probably Paolo Banchero and Zach Randolph. Those are the main guys I can see him being very similar to. And then I think the best team that could fit him is if this team falls into his hand, or if he falls into this team's hands, is the Indiana Pacers. Their team construction of Indiana roster is perfect for a guy like Boozer, another person who teams have to worry about covering. And with Halliburton's return coming, it's going to be something that can provide Ken Boozer with a more relaxed role than what he has now in Duke, as a man who can stretch the floor and just be the guy that can be a dumb ball for a lob threat for Halliburton. But I think it's going to be a little bit hard, as he has the Pascal Siakam also work with in that 4 space. But I think that Rick Carlisle is definitely something that can make them both work. And then moving on from Boozer, probably my favorite guy that I've seen, as probably a lot of people was shot up in his recent draft stocks, Darius Acuff Jr. from Arkansas. He's just been phenomenal. Just multiple performances right before March with 40-point performances, 50-point performances, and it's been amazing watching him grow. He's only 6'3", 190 pounds, 19 years old come draft day. 23 points per game, ranks him 7th in NCAA. Great passer, just a lot of efficiency too. Strength with him, the scoring ability that he has, finishing through contact is something that, as a small guard, is very nice to watch. Ball handle, keeps the ball in the string, and is an excellent passer, limits his turnovers as much as possible. But just the weaknesses, a lot of people point out his size. 6'3" is going to be something that's very hard to trying to work with in NBA, and also his defense is very liability on defense. So I kind of compared him to a Trae Young, that's a Keontae George type of player. Those guys I feel miss him as well. Obviously not as efficient of a shooter as Trae Young as he came out of Oklahoma, but he's definitely able to knock down the shot as well. And then Keontae George is very familiar with play styles. For team fits for him, I have 3 teams. It's the only person I have 3 teams for. I have the Sacramento Kings, the Utah Jazz, and the Atlanta Hawks. All these teams are trying to find their starting guard and have pieces that can work with Acuff's play style. Sacramento, my team. I would love to have him join us if we don't get the number 1 pick of AJ DeBansa. But we'll have to worry about adding another defensive liability because our team is not great at defense.
No, they are not. They are not.
Terrible. Terrible.
That you are. You are the Sacramento Queens. They should be called Kings if you're Sacramento Queens because they suck. One of the worst teams in the NBA, one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Ever since y'all fired Mike Brown, the organization has went completely left. And now the Sacramento Kings have found themselves back at the bottom of the Western Conference, right where they belong. Funny how things happen in the NBA, but you got to love it. So I appreciate Aaron Foye's insight and preview for the draft of 2026 coming up this year, postponing the national championship game that will take place on Monday. So as we go around the room, let's start with Olivia for the folks out there that will be watching tonight's episode, that will be supporting. Where can they find you on social media, and what's one message you would like to leave for the world in 2026?
Well, you can find me on social media at OlyviaRosee. That is my Instagram handle. And something I would like to say to everybody, 2026 is the year of great expectations. That is how I've taken it. It is the year of the fire horse. And for someone who is very into the Chinese astrology and the Chinese year signs, that is me. If you know about it, you know about it. And I do believe that every single person just has a lot of potential this year. I feel like I'm just riveting with potential and riveting with opportunity and just the chance to create and gain knowledge. That is what I feel like this year has in store for me. And I want everyone else to feel the same way.
Olivia, I don't know if you're interested in any broadcasting opportunities, but there's an event coming up that I know happening. I believe there's 2 tournaments. One is first week of May, and then the other one's the second week of May, both on the weekend. So I might, if you're ready, Aaron, it goes for you too, might be able to work something out. Just might. Power of a relationship. Just might. But anyway, Aaron, for the people out there that's watching, where can they support you? We know you're a track and field runner. I'm sure you can smoke me any day on the track and field course, but I know that the bill at that restaurant is going to have your name on it and not mine. So for the people out there watching, where can they find you on social media, as well as what's one message that you would like to leave for the world for the year of 2026?
Well, if you want to find me on Instagram, see when I'm posting Monty treating me to dinner, I am at __AFOYY4. That's my name. That's my Instagram. I post a lot of my content there where it comes to my commentary and stuff like that. A message I would like to leave with the world is, like I said, as a Christian man, God is always there for you. You know, you're always able to rely on to him. If whenever the situations comes where you feel as though you're too far gone, you're never too far gone for his reach. Just being able to rely on the Lord and not try to rely on your own understanding was something that can just definitely carry you out and help you change your mindset and see so many different things in life that can help you as you process what we're all going through as our first time on this earth.
I don't know how to move on from that one, but I'm gonna move on anyway because that was great. That set me up for something I'm getting ready to say. I want to say thank you again to Aaron, Foye, and Olivia for taking the time to come on and rewind episode 58, the Final Four edition here on the Rewind, brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. I want to say personally, both of you being young scholars, being young Jedis of the next generation of voices, as aspiring media personalities, sports broadcasters, studio hosts, talk show hosts, whatever it is that you may be, that you want to do, follow your passion and let your work speak for itself. I believe that both of you will be tremendously fine after post-college career. It will happen faster than lightning. And once it does happen, the real world will kick in faster than you know it as well, because as adulthood, it is trash. Okay, paying bills suck. All right, but at the end of the day, enjoy it. Enjoy not having that much of a responsibility besides going to school, getting good grades, doing well in your midterms, kicking ass in your finals. Those things continue to do, right? And everything else will take care of itself. So I'm honored and privileged to have you two on. You guys are both welcome back anytime. All you got to do is just put the word out there. But a few things I just want to share. I want to say thank you to my dog, Chris, in 1990 Studios, for all the work that he does and 1990 Studios does week in and week out here on the Rewind. It's a team effort, collaborative effort. I want to give a special shout out to Pat, as well as my prayers to his family. But let me share something that resonated with me, because I was taking some notes when Bishop Green was preaching the closing service on Friday for the New Jersey annual conference, 154th session. And some of the things he said, I just want to share with you and the world. One of the things he said is, what is about to happen is greater than anything that has already happened in your life. What is about to happen in your life, you don't need anybody's permission to receive it. He also said, what hurt you will not destroy you. It is not going to deter you from what God wants you to be and reaching that level that God wants you to have. God says, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop letting what happened have the victory and be greater than what is about to happen. Last thing I'll share with you is, don't let the enemy change your mind about what the Lord can do in your life. If you haven't, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at @rewind_GSC3, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at @rewind_GSC3. Episode 58 in the books. We'll be back same place, same time next week after the Final Four for both men's and women's. But it will be a joy to watch the games on Friday and Saturday, as I look forward to being a fan of the other 4 teams, but then being a fan of one team on Saturday night between Michigan and Arizona. To Aaron, Foye, to Olivia Rose, Monty Moss, signing off episode 58. We'll see you guys next week. And as I always say before every episode, it's simple. I got 2 words for you. It's Saturday night, and guess what? Go Blue. See you next week.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me.